On this episode of the Procedurally Generated Show, Shannon fights like a girl, Ethan revisits Heavenly Host Elementary School, and Tony collects all the bananas. We talk about the week's biggest news and answer your questions. Well, howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Procedurally Generated Show. I'm your host, Tony, and joining me this week, I've got Ethan.
Hey, Tony.
What's up, sir?
Not much. How are you doing?
My Red Mountain Dew is almost gone, so I'm kind of sad.
Mountain Dew Code Red or Red Mountain Dew?
There's Mountain Dew Code Red, but we call it Red Mountain Dew.
Okay. Just had to make sure you didn't just get like some clear Mountain Dew that's normal flavor and just color it red.
No, I didn't do that. We just use the colors around our house to describe the Mountain Dew. We don't use the actual names. Partly because I can't remember them all because there's so many. And
the green Mountain Dew, the red Mountain Dew, the white one, the blue one.
Green Mountain Dew is just default Mountain Dew. So it doesn't get a color descriptor.
Okay,
but
that's fair.
All the other ones do. So, well, also joining us this week, we got Shannon.
It may totally deserve a color descriptor because there is clear Mountain Dew, which
is true.
Doesn't necessarily need a color descriptor. So,
I guess I need to start calling it Green Mountain Dew.
Call it that green stuff.
there is clear Mountain Dew, but I choose to believe that it doesn't actually exist because it's not that good.
Oh man, imagine being colorblind in Tony's house and they're telling you which Mountain Dew to take.
Wait. You didn't like the Moonshine Mountain Dew?
Oh, that's green. I thought that was green.
It green? I thought that one was clear.
I thought you were talking about the Mountain Dew Lemon Ice or whatever it's called.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a thing too at Taco Bell. So.
It's basically just Mountain Dew's version of 7-Up, which we already have. It's called Sprite. So I don't know why we need the Mountain Dew that's clear that tastes like 7-Up when we already have the Sprite that tastes like 7-Up.
They've also got like that weird spiked lemonade one that I've seen at where was it? KFC, I think.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think about Mountain Dew Throwback?
It's good.
Okay.
It's good. I don't get it very often, but it's good. I think it just comes in cans around here.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't remember. But yeah, the Dew Shine or whatever is really good stuff.
I forgot that was a thing.
Totally is. There's also like the Mountain Dew Black Label, the Mountain Dew White Label that come in the taller cans. There's some weird Mountain Dew flavors out there.
Dew Shine?
Yeah.
What?
Which I think it's basically just like an older recipe.
That's the Moonshine stuff. Okay.
Yeah, that's the Moonshine one.
Yeah. So, the best one or my favorite one, I can't get anymore. It was a sort of pinkish color that they had. It was one of like their first democracy votes. It was pink.
These names are ridiculous.
Supernova.
Yes, that one. That one was really good. I also really like... I don't know the names of these. The purple one, which is Pitch Black. I do remember that one.
Hold on. Supernova, Pitch Black, and Typhoon.
Yeah, Pitch
Typhoon
Black
was like a pinkish red.
Yeah, it's not that one. It's the other one that I really like, the Supernova. But then Pitch Black is Grape Mountain Dew, which is really good.
Diet Mountain Dew Flare? And then, what is this? Mountain Dew Amped Energy? Oh, okay, that's cherry. Who cares?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so. Well, let's not spend the whole night talking about Mountain Dew. Let's...
Well, I mean, we've already spent, like, 5 minutes, so...
That's true. Let's talk about some video games. So, Shannon, what have you been playing this week that you want to talk about?
So I have totally gotten things finally hooked back up in the house. So we got the TV and the soundbar mounted on the wall. We have all the video game systems are hooked up in a way that is much better than it ever was at the old house.
Yeah, that wall looks really nice.
Thank you. Yeah, I need to send you guys a picture of the entertainment center that's like kind of in the little nook next to that wall. I mean, I managed to get the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, the Switch, the PlayStation 3, the Vita TV, the SNES Classic, the Xbox 360, and an Apple TV all hooked up running through a ridiculous system of HDMI switchers. And it all seems to be working properly. Like the stuff that requires the CEC communication through HDMI to get like HDR permissions to actually display and recognize that it's an HDR signal. I was using Shadow of the Colossus as like my litmus test to get everything to recognize it as pass-through for the PS4, which was a nightmare, but it's finally all working, which is nice. And to test it out, I am using Skullgirls on Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
So I did not even know this was a thing until what, 3 or 4 days ago when you sent us a message about it. So
yeah.
This is a review copy that was provided by Lab Zero Games, and it is Skullgirls on Switch. It plays wonderfully. It is exactly like the PlayStation 4 or PC counterpart to all of my experience so far. I haven't had any hitching or issues with lag or delay in button inputs. So as far as a fighting game, it feels just as smooth as it does on other systems. One of the big pluses is this is the Skullgirls second encore release, and they've also included all of the DLC in it.
Mm-hmm.
So right from the get-go, you have all the characters, which is nice.
Nice. And you don't have to unlock any of them?
As far as I know, no.
Okay.
They are all on the menu select screen from the very beginning. They also put dual languages in it, which I think this is the first version that has ever had both audio, both the Japanese and the American English audio.
Really?
Yeah, I think this is the first version that has had that, because there is story mode. There are like you have like the banter between the characters at the beginning and end of each battle. But they do have dual audio, which I know for a fact wasn't a thing on the PS3 and PS4 versions of previous Skullgirls releases, because like Skullgirls has gone through a mess of like legal nonsense leading up to what is now called Second Encore, which is really just the first game with all the characters, and they've had to call it different things because of some craziness coming out of the Xbox 360 era when the game first came out. Because like you had Skullgirls, then when that got shut down, it was Skullgirls Encore, and then when they moved to PS4, it was Skullgirls Second Encore. So it is the most complete version to my knowledge.
Third Encore.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't go that route and call it Third Encore, but
Double Second Encore. Just do Street Fighter names after a point here.
It's kind of bordering that craziness, is, you know.
Alpha Encore, and then oh man,
Super Turbo Alpha.
Yeah. They planned this out years ago. They know what they're doing.
I'm not as fluid with Skullgirls as I am with other fighting games, but I am very partial to the style, the art, the whole feel of the game is great, and I gotta give it up to Peacock. I mean, that is totally my favorite fighter. She is the most goofy, wacky, zany character in the game. she's the one who like pulls out a cannon out of her back pocket and she'll shoot cannonballs across the screen or slam down on the ground and like a loose floorboard would pop up as one of her moves, or the character that pulls out the handgun and the little flag that says bang would pop out. It's nice. It's just like silly, goofy, zany stuff, and I like it a lot. So
kind of like a Cuphead character.
Yeah, man, she absolutely, she feels like a Cuphead character.
Oh man, are we gonna ever get Cuphead characters in a fighting game?
Maybe.
We've got Banjo-Kazooie in Smash. So I don't know. That would be pretty nuts if we had Cuphead and Mugman show up in Smash Brothers or something.
I think it'd be cool.
It would be cool. I'll give you that, but I don't know. I don't know if it'll ever happen.
Oh, that talus.
Yeah, Skullgirls is one of those games that I've always been really interested in playing. I've never actually picked up a copy of it. I've played demos on a couple of different systems. I've heard a lot of people say that this is like one of the best fighting games if you're new to fighting games or you're interested in them. It's got some like the best tutorials, I think people have said.
It really does. They have a very good tutorial system for every character. This is, I would say, the only other fighting game I've played that has something comparable to how informative this one is would be like King of Fighters 13.
Yeah.
Which is like back in PS3 360 era, but that had a very extensive tutorial system that taught you all of the mechanics, walked you through every individual character's moveset. It was wonderful, and there's a lot of fighting games that come out nowadays that just don't have that.
I think it even had like a hitbox showing on there and stuff.
Yep. It would even show you where your hitboxes were, so like you knew when to block high, mid, low.
And I think Skullgirls has those same options as well. You can go in and turn on hit and hurt boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Man, the hitboxes on Skullgirls are just crazy, though.
Yeah. Any questions for Skullgirls?
I mean, do you know how many characters there are? Because I think they've kept this roster pretty concise, haven't they?
Yeah, I want to say it's like 12 characters. I can fact check that.
How many are not skulls or girls?
There are only a couple, I think, that are not girls.
Like Big Band, I think it's a guy, isn't it?
Yeah, they're Big Band is a dude. I'm trying to check the wiki. $14 characters.
That's a pretty, it's not a small roster, but it's definitely not the biggest roster for a fighting game.
No, I mean there are plenty of games that have a much deeper roster, but the fighting styles and variety of characters is very good for what it is in Skullgirls. So
nice. Was there anything else about the game?
I mean, that's pretty much it for Skullgirls. I mean,
have you played any online?
I have not, and that brings me to the next thing. Is like my network connection in this house is kind of garbage right now. So we have where they set up the modem in this house is like in the laundry room. So my wireless router for the house is sitting in the laundry room next to the modem.
Yeah.
So I have a 1-bar in and out connection on my switch next to the TV in the living room.
Wow.
It's just not very good. So the plan coming up is to run a hard line Cat 6 to the entertainment center and then put a switch in there.
I'd really like to wire my whole house for like internet, where all of the different rooms could have a hard line connection if we needed it.
I would love to do that as well, but it is very expensive. I mean, we were looking at what's the cost of just getting, because we'll need about like 70. We did the measurements. It's gonna be like 76 feet from the room where the modem or where the the room where the modem is, around the perimeter of the house, to the corner in the living room that I want to put it in.
Yeah.
We need like 76 feet of Cat 6. That's rated for outdoor. So because I can't run it and snake it through the walls. Like there's just no way that's going to happen in this house. So it gets pricey.
Yeah. Yeah, and I rent my house, so that's the one reason I haven't really even bothered looking into what the pricing would be on something like that.
Gotcha.
So, well, what about you, Ethan? What have you been playing?
I played a little game called Corpse Party. Oh, geez, which one was it again? Scrolling up. There it is. Corpse Party Blood Drive. Because that came out earlier in the month for Steam. This is the version that was released on Vita here in the US, I guess a few years ago. And that version is honestly garbage. The game runs better when you have the flashlight turned off, so, figure that out on the Vita. And this is the PC version. Everything runs smooth. It's way better compared to the Vita version, so I'm really happy with that. And the reason I'm playing that one is because I have not finished Blood Drive, but I have purchased Corpse Party 2 Dead Patient,
Okay.
which takes place after Blood Drive, but came out before it. And it actually, this is the US, like we just got Corpse Party 2 just a few days ago, as of, or just earlier in the week as of the release of this podcast. So that's pretty cool, and it's on Steam. So I was going to play that with Stuart. We started it up, and he said I shouldn't have to play the previous one, and then right away we're hit with 2 characters from the previous game. So I was like, yeah, let's just close this out and move to the one I haven't finished yet, so we can be caught up.
Sounds like it was probably a good idea to go back and play that one.
Yeah, sadly, I have to get back up to where I was at in Blood Drive, which honestly isn't that far into the story.
Yeah.
But we're kind of making a running attempt to get that far. Maybe I'll finish it for once. Not sure. I'm really not sure how far I want to go on this one for the completion. Like if I want to just get the best ending, or if I want to go and get all endings, because I recall playing the first game, there was a ton of different little endings. They're all just, oh, you died here doing this, you died here doing that, and it's like, come on, guys, I just want to get the good ending. Time consuming.
Yeah, those games like that can be that way.
Yeah, especially because they're all RPG maker based games, so you had to get the most out of what you're making for free back in the day. So that's kind of how that started, and here it is now, a franchise with fully developed characters and high quality art now. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
And very spooky for Japanese horror.
And Japanese horror is already spooky.
Yes, it is.
Like, that stuff creeps me out. Just watching even, like, the trailers for some Japanese movies, I'm like, nope.
It's like, oh man, here comes a ghost. Is it a US or a Japanese ghost?
If it bends over backwards and its head turns upside down, it's Japanese.
It's like a US ghost is flying in. Yeah, I'll just punch it in the face and call it good. Japanese one, no, we're out. Peace.
See ya. I don't need to be here.
It's like, I'll fight the Japanese zombies all day. You throw a Japanese ghost at me, we're gonna call all the priests and everything we can find, man.
I think they did that in Casper, and it didn't work out so well.
Casper's
like,
not Japanese, is he?
All the ghosts in Casper, if you've seen Casper the Friendly Ghost, the movie, the family of ghosts there was so terrifying. They called the Ghostbusters, they called Father Guido, they called everybody, and they scared all of them off.
Well, it's because the three brothers just kept messing with whoever was doing what. And it's really hard to take your job seriously at that point when you're just going to rage quit on it.
True.
And then, Casper's over there. He's like, I'm sorry, here. Have a tissue.
He's just trying to be friendly.
So, Corpse Party Blood Drive and Corpse Party 2 Dead Patient should be a experience that has probably everything to do with this time of year right now.
Yep.
What have you been playing, Tony?
I have not been playing anything related to spooky or skulls or anything like that. No. That game comes out next week for me.
You're not a man, you're a chicken, boo.
Yeah. I am 5 days away at the time of recording to the game of the year. So eagerly awaiting that. So no, I've been playing a bunch of Paladins. I'm not going to talk about that, though. I talked about that last week. I have, thanks to Sega, who sent over a copy of this, been playing Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD.
Ooh.
I love the Monkey Ball series. Like I have played almost every game in the series. And they are remaking the 2006 Wii launch game that was Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz. One of the two games I had on launch day of the Wii. So I walked into GameStop that morning, got a Wii, got Zelda, got Monkey Ball, came home and played it.
As one does, yes.
Absolutely. So this is a straight one-to-one remake of that. It's got the 100 levels that were in the original game with the various locales that come along with that, like there's a jungle, there's a desert, there's a snow level, or snow sets of levels, and the location doesn't do anything as far as changing up the gameplay really any. It's just
eye candy.
It's just a visual thing. But all of the levels are there, the gameplay's there. I love this game in particular. A lot of people have been like, why would you remake this game when you have the original Monkey Ball games on the GameCube that more people like that you could bring back? And I don't know the answer to that. I don't know why Sega chose this game over some of the older games that maybe...
I think that question comes up every time they re-release a Monkey Ball game. It's like, why are you doing this instead of re-releasing the original? And then other people are, why are you re-release? The opposite is also true if they try that as well. So it's just you can't win either way.
Just pick a game and re-release it. Everybody play it and have
just release everything all on one disc. No new stuff. Yeah. That way they can be mad about not having new stuff.
There you go. So no, this game's really good. They have gotten rid of the one sort of, I guess you could call it a problem of the original version of this game, and that was the motion controls.
Oh. Yeah.
There are no more motion controls. You're just using the analog sticks, like you would on a regular controller. They did not bring over the Wii motion controls in any way.
Good.
So.
Take that, Wii motion controls.
So, I mean, they weren't bad. I played through the entire game with them and enjoyed the game a lot. But they definitely are not as precise as an analog stick. And having to flick the controller to jump was just, no, don't do that. Just make that a button press, which they have done now.
I really hated having to do that in the Metroid Prime trilogy to make the morph ball jump. Just flick them out.
The problem with that, especially on the Wii version of this game, was because you had to tilt everything to move, basically, you had no idea where you were going to be going when you stopped jumping. So, because if you didn't get the controller exactly back where you were when you started the jump, it was registering that tilt difference, and you were going in a different direction. So, it's nice to not have to worry about that this time around. All of the characters are there. I don't remember all their names. The baby monkey, the doctor monkey, all of the characters from the original. And they've added one new character to this game that was not in the original.
It's not Donkey Kong.
It is not Donkey Kong. It is not a monkey in any way. It is Sonic the Hedgehog.
Cool.
You can now play as Sonic the Hedgehog in Super Monkey Ball.
That's pretty cool.
Does he go fast?
I mean, yeah, he does. He's kind of held back by being in a hamster ball this time, so he can't go as fast as he would without it. No, I mean, he goes plenty fast. So,
if they release like a Nintendo exclusive, like with Nintendo backing it, they could probably like get away with Pokemon in there and
probably, and have it, look like a Pokeball.
Yeah. Oh, it already does.
It already does, sort of. Yeah, it's got two different colors on it. It's a clear and then like a pinkish color on the bottom. So yeah, it does. It is totally a Pokeball. I hadn't even thought of that.
You can even throw Donkey Kong in there, Diddy Kong, and the whole DK crew.
All in one ball.
Sure, why not?
Just put all the monkeys in there. Except none of those guys are monkeys. Well, that's not true.
I guess at some point you're putting them into a barrel, really.
That wouldn't roll as well as a ball.
Monkeys in a barrel. Yep.
So there is also one other change that they've done from the original game to this one. And in the original game, it had 50 multiplayer mini games that you could play.
This one's got infinite.
This one only has 10.
Oh.
So, and it's the one part of the game I haven't been able to really check out. Because you can't even see the games without picking multiple people, and I just haven't even tricked the game into thinking I'm playing with someone else to see what the list of games is in the mini game section, the ones that were there previously that have been removed, so I don't know anything about that. But the gameplay itself in the main story is better than it was in 2006, and I really liked the 2006 game. Visually, I'd say it probably... I'm assuming there's a step up from the original, because this is an HD version of that. I haven't played that original game since probably 2008-ish, so it's been a while. But it does look the way I remember it. Only it's I'm assuming it's a little bit smoother this time around. The edges aren't quite as jagged as they were on the Wii. Because the Switch the Switch is a little bit more powerful than the Wii. And it plays really, really nicely in handheld mode. Plays really nicely on the TV. It's if you like Monkey Ball, you're gonna like this game. There's just no other way to say it. This is a really good version of. So, really glad to see Sega has finally revisited that franchise, because it's been a while since we got a Monkey Ball game.
Very true.
When was the last Monkey Ball game? Banana Splits, which I think was a Vita game back in 2012, was the last time we got a Monkey Ball game.
I think you're correct.
Yeah.
So it's been
a while.
It's been about 6 or 7 years since we've had a Monkey Ball game, and there's that one developer that's making their version of not Monkey Ball, but I can't remember what that's called.
Oh wait, no, there was Super Monkey Ball Bounce in 2014.
Really? What was that on?
Android and iOS.
Oh, okay.
I knew there was a mobile game. I just didn't know on what or when.
So,
I think it looked like the Game Boy game, really.
yeah. So this one is probably the brightest and most colorful version of Monkey Ball that's been out there. It is there. They used every color that you could imagine for some of these levels. They are very bright, very vibrant. So
that's cool.
But it's a good game. It really is. It was one of my two favorite launch games on the Wii. which I think there was like 12 games that were launch titles for the Wii, something like that.
Maybe.
It's somewhere around there, and these were one of the two that I got. I really liked it. I played a bunch of it early on in the life of the Wii, so. But that's really all that I have been playing. So let's take a quick break, and we will come back and we will talk about the news. Okay.
Sorry, I was mid-yawn there.
I heard something going on. That's why I paused for a second. Have you guys been sitting around playing your Switch thinking, you know what would really make this experience way better is if I could plug a GameCube controller into this thing?
Nope. Have never thought that.
So I may have one of those Power A wireless GameCube knockoff things for my Switch.
I have a wired one. I did buy a wired GameCube controller. I think I've used it once. Because as much as I love the GameCube controller, I have found it's really hard to go back to thinking about that button layout when you're playing modern games. But there is a company called Sades that if you are really, really hardcore fan of the GameCube controller, they will be on Halloween actually releasing a version of the Joycons that are styled in the GameCube controller style.
These look really cool, but they also look really cheap.
They do look really cool. I like the buttons on them, actually. They don't look like... I mean, if you've seen pictures of them close up, they are definitely not the same shape as the original GameCube buttons. They're much more flat than those. They don't stick up off of the shell of the controller like the GameCube buttons do.
Yeah, no.
They do look really good. I think that they're a little bit wider than regular Joy-Cons. They do allow you to dock the system, so if you have them on there, you don't have to worry about not being able to dock the system without them. You can just plug them onto the sides of the Switch, dock it, and it'll charge everything just like normal. They also do come with a micro USB slot for charging if you want to charge them without docking them to the system.
That's actually pretty cool.
That is a really nice feature, and a feature that should be on regular Switch Joy-Cons, especially with the Switch Lite out.
Yeah. Yes, because if you do use regular Joy-Cons while you're playing your Switch Lite, or you use them for like multiplayer games or whatever, there's no way to charge them without getting
Nintendo's charging thing.
Or you dock them to another Switch. So.
Or you just rig up your own charging station.
One thing about third-party controllers, though, that you normally have seen on the Switch is that they don't have a lot of those extra features. They don't have Rumble. They don't have the RFID stuff for Amiibo. They don't have the gyro controls and things like that. This has all of those. So
what?
It will scan Amiibos. It does have gyro controls, and it does have Rumble. The Rumble, though, is really bad. I watched a video of somebody showing, reviewing these things, and the Rumble, it's not HD Rumble where it can vary things a little bit. It is very high-powered, very loud Rumble all the time.
On or off.
It is on or off. There is no in between. So in some games that use things like you'll feel some slight rumble when the character is walking, they are stomping around like giants if you're using these controllers.
Wow.
It does have gyro. It has that. The only thing it doesn't have is the IR sensor for the right Joy-Con.
No, deal breaker. Throw it away. Don't need it anymore.
So it is one of the few third-party controllers, because there are even some licensed controllers that are third-party controllers, like Hori's Split Pad, which I really want. I want to get one of those so bad. Doesn't have any of that extra stuff. This is a third-party, non-licensed controller, but it has all of that tech included that most Joy-Cons have. They're going to be on sale for $60, so they're a little bit more expensive than a regular pair of Joy-Cons, but it's not unreasonably higher. I think that's a fairly decent price for these controllers. One thing that I do think is kind of bad about them is that they have that octagonal gate around the analog sticks.
You shut your mouth.
The GameCube had that. It was nice on the GameCube. It's not so good now. I don't like that octagonal gate around the sticks.
Your opinion is false. You need to reconsider what is accurate, sir.
Well, I'll go into hiding and rethink my life.
I am a big fan of an octagonal gate.
You can take these off and use them as single Joy-Cons if you like the regular ones. They do have the SL and SR buttons on them. But the way these controllers are laid out, it would be very difficult to actually use them as proper controllers, I think, for playing things. There might be a few games that it works okay, like Mario Kart would probably work all right with these, playing them on the side. At least the right Joy-Con would probably work. I don't know how well the left Joy-Con would work. Because with that GameCube controller layout, having all of those buttons moved around when you're trying to play a game on this may be a little weird. So, but if you want to, you can hand your friend the D-pad controller and say, "Here, have fun," and then your friend hates you and never plays a video game with you ever again.
Speaking of never playing video games again,
Fallout 76.
Oh man, can't have a week where we don't talk about like Fallout 76 or EA's.
Bethesda is just setting themselves on fire week after week right now.
Oh yeah, back to Bethesda. Okay, yeah. So earlier in the week they announced Fallout First. It is a membership program for Fallout 76. It is a paid subscription service.
For a game you paid, you probably didn't pay $60 for.
If you got it on launch day, you paid $60. If you waited till the day after, you paid $40.
That's true. So there's multiple tiers to this subscription too, or is it just
it's $13 a month or $100 for a year?
$100 a year for this.
And what you get for spending $100, well, what you get for your membership benefits for this,
you don't get much.
The first and foremost is what fans have been bickering for since the game came out: private worlds. Play in a private world exclusively for you and up to 7 friends. And it's supposed to be invite only, but apparently that's not invite only.
Ooh. So is this like Realms in Minecraft?
It is like it is more expensive than Realms in Minecraft, and Minecraft Realms worked a lot better as well. So, let's just go down the list. We got private worlds. We have a scrap box for unlimited storage and crafting components in your own scrap box container. A survival tent that can be placed for a fast travel point. So basically, a fast travel point you can place anywhere you want in the game. A monthly allowance of 1,650 atoms. So
I don't know how much that actually is in the game.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's just a currency, as far as I know. So, the exclusive Ranger armor outfit, and then icons and emotes.
Oh boy!
You can finally floss with the rest of them, the best of them.
Hey.
So, fans have been asking for private worlds since the game came out, so that way they don't have to play online in fear of having their world nuked at random. And so, the guys at Bethesda, apparently they've been listening and said, you know what? we're going to charge money for that. And so this is the attempt at that. So you and up to 7 friends can have your own private world. People who have been testing this out since it was announced and had access to it have found that the worlds that you're getting access to are instances from other online areas of the game that'll have dead NPCs, and all the chests will have already been looted here and there, wherever. So it's kind of working against everyone in that regard. The ever so awesome unlimited scrap box is actually just destroying everything you put in there, so it's just eating it. So you don't get anything back.
Oh, man.
The survival tent apparently crashes the game. And, so the top 3 things that people get from that will be really excited about are the 3 things that are broken right now. Also, the private worlds are not that private. You can still get invaded somehow. And it's supposed to be invite only for friends, and just anyone that's on your friend list can just jump in there until it's full. So it's
a giant dumpster fire of a mess.
Yep. And this comes out after I forget who it was that Bethesda had announced that they're not going to charge for like DLC or something, and then they announced this and delayed the DLC that they had announced already.
Man.
So, kind of, I mean, I can see the appeal from a business standard of doing it this way. At the same time, it's all broken, and it comes off kind of like a scumbag move, really. So, take the information there how you will, but
it's exactly what Bethesda has not needed to do for Fallout 76.
Exactly. And apparently, there's a website called Fallout First that Bethesda forgot to register, and
I saw that story too.
It's got some extremely colorful language on that site, so keep that in mind. I'm not telling you to go there, but if you do,
be prepared.
It'll be prepared, and also it's hilarious. It is like a parody of their entire announcement of the Fallout First membership stuff, and like I said, parody. Just keep that in mind.
Speaking of Bethesda, I was just scrolling through Twitter and saw this news that Elder Scrolls Blades, when it comes to the Switch, will require an online internet connection. So you will not be able to play if you are not connected to the internet.
I think the mobile version requires a constant connection as well.
Yeah, but you're generally playing that on a phone, which is going to have one.
And it's going to eat up your data plan.
Yeah, but when it comes to the Switch, it will also require an internet connection. It will support crossplay and cross progression.
Really?
Yep. So there is that, but you're not going to be able to play it if you're not somewhere where your Switch is connected to the internet.
Lame.
So they say they're considering an offline mode because they hear from people that people would really like to have an offline mode, but they have no plans for that right now.
It's also assumed that this Fallout 76 membership thing is just to keep money coming in for this game to pay the people who are still working to fix everything on there.
Yeah. They need to do something, because Fallout 76 has not been very...
They should have released it as like a free-to-play thing or a DLC for Fallout 4.
Yeah.
But it was like making a membership up front to begin with.
Yeah, if it had been free-to-play, or if it had been like an MMO-style membership from the beginning, that wouldn't have been as big a deal. People might have griped initially, but after a while, I think they would have gotten over it. And you wouldn't have had as much of the backlash against the game as you've had.
Oh, and supposedly it's supposed to allow for mods, because you can't have mods in 76 default.
So you'll have to have the subscription to mod the game?
to legally have mods running, yes.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
Yep.
There you go. I don't know how to transition into your next story.
There is no way to transition. You just got.
How do you go from Fallout to Conan O'Brien?
Oh, he probably played it on his show or something at some point. I don't know.
He might have.
So Conan O'Brien, much like all the big stars, are all showing up in Death Stranding.
Mm-hmm.
Conan O'Brien is playing himself in Death Stranding, though.
Is the character's name actually Conan O'Brien?
I believe it is from the screenshot I saw.
What? Okay. He was just in Japan recently. Like, I say recently. He had like a whole Conan in Japan series that went on through his YouTube channel. If you watched it, it was hilarious. Does this have something to do with that? Like,
it may have something to do with that, because that'd probably been like 3 months ago that when he was on there, or over in Japan compared to when it released on TV.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, he's basically playing himself in Fallout 70, or not Fallout, Death Stranding. Yeah. Oh man, okay.
Not Fallout.
Oh gosh. So yeah, he's basically playing himself in there, and from him you unlock you get access to the otter helmet for Sam, aka the Norman Reedus character.
Mm-hmm.
And the otter helmet allows you to swim better like an otter.
Okay.
Like
otters are very good swimmers.
He will be on his back doing weird otter style swimming.
Is he going to try to break open things on rocks?
He might. I don't know. So we get an otter hat, and then considering Kojima's previous game, where we got a chicken hat, and then the previous game from, well, I guess previous game, where we got an alligator hat. So Kojima just really likes animal hats.
Apparently. I can only imagine the funny screenshots and GIFs we're going to get from this game with some of these people like this.
Man, could you imagine if it came out and it's just a mess, or like buggy as Fallout 76, but it's hilarious looking?
Like WWE 2K20.
Oh gosh. That game is so bad, it's good.
I've watched so many compilation videos of bugs from WWE 2K20. They are all hilarious. It is ridiculous how broken that game is.
I would just love to have seen like an explanation for why it's so buggy, but I don't want the explanation either.
They're basically starting over from scratch. The company that had been doing the WWE games, Ukes, left. And they 2K was basically they basically had to rebuild the game from scratch. So this is like the first version of WWE 2K. Just imagine that none of the previous ones ever existed. This is the first game that the company has done in that series at this point, basically. So that's part of the reason that this game is so bad. It never should have come out.
But it's so hilarious.
It is, and it has been a source of pure joy watching the things that the wrestlers do in and through the ring.
I just recall that one clip. The person's just passed out on the ground. The ref is in the middle, and then the other wrestler is like stuck in the ropes, just rotating around the entire ring.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand what was happening. I was like, okay, that's a bug.
There's another one where like John Cena is laying on his side and he's just doing circles around the edge of the ring, just over and over and over and over and over. I'll have to find like the best compilation clip and send it to you guys because it is hilarious. I think we talked last week about Nintendo offering refunds for WWE 2K20. Well, this week Sony announced that they are giving players refunds if they want to get their money back for WWE 2K20.
Do you want your money back, or do you want to keep making hilarious videos? The power is yours.
There have been plenty of horrifying faces that are missing, and you just see the eyes and the teeth and hair. And
so,
oh my gosh.
So it's like Assassin's Creed.
It is like Assassin's Creed all over again. Speaking of Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft has announced they're delaying a bunch of games, like all their games.
That's just what I put in the notes. All games, not even the games that are just there. It's just every game.
They have announced delays for every game.
They're delaying Watch Dogs Legion, Rainbow Six Quarantine, and a little game called Gods and Monsters.
Yes, which I don't think technically had a release date.
Supposedly April 2020.
Oh, was it?
Wait, okay. I'm guessing this is just part of the 3 games. Okay. What they're trying to do is avoid a repeat of Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which I should probably look and see what happened with that game real quick.
Or WWE 2K20.
Oh my gosh, the screenshots on here are just really bad terrain. Okay, yeah. Let's just say bad stuff happened with that.
Well, here's the thing, though. With delays, and I think people have been a little more receptive to delay announcements recently. But if the game's not working and you need more time, tell players you need more time. And just make the game work.
Yeah, it's like back in the day, you released a game that was bad. It was forever bad. Today, it's like you release a game that's bad, people are going to complain about it online, it'll be forever bad online, and then you'll patch it.
Yeah.
Probably. Or you'll just let the game die, and no one wants that these days.
And to go along with that, Sony announced that The Last of Us 2 is getting a delay. It was supposed to have come out in February, or this upcoming February.
That is such a strange thing to announce, because they just had their state of play, 2 weeks ago?
And they just announced that date, like, within the last month. They gave it a date.
Yeah.
I'm guessing, like, Steve over in, marketing was just jumping the gun there. I don't know who Steve is. I just picked a name.
And I think they said spring, so it's not a long delay, but it is, it's a month or two that they're pushing the game back. So, I don't remember seeing a reason.
They want the game to be done, good, and fun.
Well, I mean that every game should be done, good, and fun. So.
I was trying to give you a segue there.
I missed that one. I actually was gonna segue into something different.
All right, do that.
Something that you and I talked about, and that was Call of Duty.
Wait, when did we talk Call of Duty?
We talked about it earlier this week. You and I did.
I've slept since then.
Where the physical version of the game has a disc.
Oh,
but
yes,
the game itself is not on the disc.
Yes. What was it?
The physical version of Call of Duty Modern Warfare. When you put the game in, when you put the disc in the system, it tells the system to download the game, basically.
Yes.
So we have PC games now? Is that PC
basically.
Games on your system?
All it is like the disc image on there telling it, hey, they have the right to this content. So you can't even play just the download. You'd have to have the disc in there to keep playing. So enjoy.
Thanks.
And you cannot play anything on the game. There's no, it downloads the single player portion, and then you can start playing that while it downloads the multiplayer. You have to download the whole thing before you can start playing.
56 gigabytes, I believe.
Yeah.
Day one. And it looks like it's downloading a patch, but it's downloading the whole game.
It is downloading the game.
So, this kind of fell into a discussion of a very brief, not really a discussion. I guess it was a comment I made. Like going to a midnight release for like the new Halo game. It's like, all right, I can't wait to get home and play this right away. Nope, you put it in the system, and it's like, all right, now I gotta wait a few hours while it downloads on these servers that are also getting flooded by everyone trying to download and play this game at the same time.
Yep. So this is the second game now in recent memory that I can think of that if you go buy the physical version of the game in stores, you do not get a physical version of the game. Overwatch on the Switch, the physical version of that you bought in stores had a download code in the box.
It said that on the box, though.
Yeah, it did. But there's no actual physical version of the game. So, and unfortunately, I think we're probably going to see more and more of that as time goes on.
The sad future we're living towards.
One game, though, that if you buy the physical version of it, you get a physical copy of the game, and you get a whole bunch of other stuff, too, is SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. Because they announced 2 collector's editions for that game this week. This is a remake of an older SpongeBob game.
I forget, was this PS2 era?
I think so. PS2, GameCube, that era. So it's coming to Xbox One and PS4 and Switch and PC. So it's coming to all major consoles, and there are 2 different collector's editions they announced. The first one is $150. It's called the Shiny Collector's Edition. And it comes with an 8-inch SpongeBob figurine, and he has a golden spatula and a flexible tongue.
Nice.
Oh, gosh.
So it also comes with wall stickers, some lithographs, a pair of socks, and the game. So for
original game came out in 2003. PS2, Xbox, and GameCube, and PC, and Game Boy Advance.
Yeah. So, and then there's also a second version of the game that's called the FUN edition, the Fun edition.
The Fun edition.
And there's probably evidence of us singing the FUN song on the pre-show. So go listen to that if you want to hear us singing. F is for friends who do stuff together.
I guess I'll have to make that public after like a week.
And this version, I'm not going to tell you how much this one costs. It comes with an 8-inch SpongeBob figurine with the golden spatula and the flexible tongue. They really make sure you know that it comes with the flexible tongue. A 7-inch figure of Pat and an 8-inch figure of Sandy, as well as the wall stickers, the lithograph, the 6 lithographs, the SpongeBob socks, and a set of tiki key rings, and the game itself.
That price, man.
The cost of this one, Shannon, $299.
So here's the deal.
$300.
That Patrick statue is amazing. If I see that Patrick statue on eBay at some point following the release of this stupid edition, I cannot be held responsible for what I do.
Do you desperately need a figure of Patrick holding a watermelon with underwear on it?
Yes. I absolutely need that in my life.
Oh.
I hope that this comes to retailers because I would love to find it on the cheap. Because this is one of those things that
it's going to drop in price pretty quick.
Yeah, if it shows up on the shelf at like Best Buy or something, I could see this under $100 within 4 or 5 months.
To be fair, all of the statues look really nice. They're really well done.
They look really good.
But yeah, I'm not spending $300 for a SpongeBob game.
No.
So, yeah, it's insane. And I don't know anything about the game. I've never played Battle for Bikini Bottom. I know of its existence.
Oh man, I'm sorry to interrupt. They have different SKUs for this FUN edition for each version of the game. So PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, they have 4 different SKUs. that all include the statues and all the other junk. So that means that there's the potential for there to be multiple, if you're going at it for just the extra if you're going for it, going at it just for the figures, you could possibly see like the Xbox or the PlayStation version get marked down really cheap really fast because the Switch one may actually sell or something like that.
Yeah. So, I would not be surprised. The game itself, I think I could see a lot of people buying. There's still a lot of people that love SpongeBob, a lot of kids especially that really like watching SpongeBob. So I could see the game still being popular, but this $300 special edition, there's no way I would ever buy this for my kids. Sorry, I'm not spending $300 on some statues and some socks. So, and SpongeBob tongue just creeps me out. So, well, there you go. That is the news. If anybody does buy this collector's edition, please send us pictures of us and let us see it on your shelves, because I want to see this. So, but that is it for the news. So let's move on to listener feedback for this week. And I put out the question of the week this week for you listeners. I wanted to know, when was the last time that you guys rage quit in a game? And we got some responses back.
When did you do this? Have I not been paying attention to our Facebook page?
It was earlier today. So when I posted the podcast question post, I also put in the question of the week. So, and our first one this week comes from Nathan via Facebook, who says, "I don't recall the last time I rage quit, but I do recall the last time I just quit on the spot." Isn't that rage quitting? I had just gotten my PS4 set up along with my PS Plus subscription, and the PS4 had Fortnite pre-installed. I figured why not and tried it. First match I join, I hear what sounds like somebody with the mic lodged in their throat talking while presumably their parents were arguing loudly in the background. Turned off the game and played something else. Never really had an interest in Fortnite to begin with, so I didn't really come back.
Nathan, the microphone was lodged in that poor child's throat, and the parents were screaming because they couldn't figure out how to get it removed.
Yeah.
You basically witnessed the poor death of a child.
Man!
I'm so terribly sorry to inform you, sir.
Show suddenly gets a lot darker in time for Halloween. All right, good job, Shannon.
PG, Shannon. Come on now. Oh my gosh. See, I guess that's technically not rage quitting, but I can understand. I've turned off matches when I realized I forgot to turn off voice chat and did not want to be listening to random 12-year-olds screaming at each other while I was trying to play the game. So, I totally understand you turning off the game for that. Fortnite's fun, so you might give it a try.
Just delete it. You're better off without it.
Okay. Or just listen to Ethan.
Just be
that's
Ethan.
That's probably the better choice.
Just be Ethan. Bringing it back.
Ben via Facebook says, "I've raged plenty while playing, but the last time I rage quit was over a year ago playing For Honor. Need I say more?"
I can see that.
I have never played For Honor, so I don't know the potential for rage quits.
It can be kind of frustrating, especially when you're going like against the Chinese characters on there because they're like overpowered or something. It's really bad.
There have been a couple Paladins matches recently that I've been like, you know what? I would love to stop this, but I'm not going to. When you're just getting your tail handed to you and you have no chance of coming back to even make it a close match, you just want to turn it off. But I don't want to. I have resisted the urge sometimes to turn it off. I don't know the last time I actually rage quit in a game. We'll get to our next one. Daniel via Facebook, and it's for this particular reason. that I've tried to not rage quit in a game. And he says, Daniel via Facebook says, not sure, it's been years. Since I've had kids, I've tried really hard to not get too emotional while playing, to teach them that it's just a game and laugh off anything that might be super frustrating. Yes. The last time I got mad and turned off a game, though, was playing Minecraft. Long story short, I'd been working on a project for 3 hours while my kid was at school and was going to surprise her with a bunch of cool stuff in our survival world when she got home from school. When I went to save the game, it glitched and it reverted to a save 3 hours prior. That's about the only kind of thing that really makes me mad nowadays.
Legit reason to be mad. Yep.
I wholly agree with
absolutely.
You as a parent, you have to guard yourself for the sake of your children because they are sponges. And I see the worst of myself in my child more often than I ever want to.
Oh, absolutely. You're 100% correct. And I've seen, you see videos all the time on the internet of kids just flipping out over a game. And I try really hard to make sure my kids know that, you know what, you're just playing a game. If it's that frustrating, just turn it off and go do something else. And I try to show them that even if I'm having one of those moments where I want to slam the controller down, I keep myself from doing that. Because I want them, like him, to know that this stuff shouldn't get you that emotional to the point where you're wanting to break something. So I totally get what he's saying here.
Absolutely.
So, but he does have a legitimate reason for being very angry.
Yeah, I mean, that's actual work being put into a game that's just gone.
Yeah, it's a ton of time, and then it was a ton of time that you were trying to do something fun and special for your kid that just completely blew up in your face. So I can absolutely see being frustrated by that. So, but do you guys have any times that you can remember that you've rage quit from something?
So I think we discussed this post-show last week, but I absolutely rage quit on that Madagascar Wii game that I was instructed to review at one point. Like, there were plenty of moments in that game where I just felt like the developers just didn't care. There was a lot of shovelware on the Wii, and we got a whole lot of it as Nintendo Oki at some point. So,
yeah, we definitely did. So, well, Ethan, do you have any stories?
Oh man, mine are from so long ago. I'd rather not share those.
Okay.
Like my rage quitting now is just like I'm frustrated at what's happening, and it's not even like I'm mad. I just turn it off or do something else, or I'll keep playing the game, just do something completely different in the game. And it's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. All right. Well, I am going to go ahead and pose next week's week to the. I'll use the question
you and I were talking about. One more time
about.
Without the robot voice.
Oh, sorry. The computer screensaver went on and
it's fine.
Freaked things out. So. Well, I'm going to go ahead and pose next week's question of the week to you listeners right now. And this comes from another conversation, Ethan, that you and I had. And that is, when do you consider a game to be a game?
Oh, man. The conversation we started having on that and just went cold turkey, not talking about.
So, and I have a little write-up that I had done. In this day and age, games come out in all levels of completion. And some games are lengthy 100-hour epics. Other games last mere minutes. Some games have gorgeous vistas, while others are simply text-based affairs. Some games are so broken at their release, people wonder whether they can be considered games at all. So, I just want to ask you listeners, when do you consider a game to be a game? Is a demo of a game, could that be considered a game? Do you have to be able to complete the game for it to be considered a game? When exactly would you consider a game a game?
We're talking like from the planning stages all the way up to like retail release if it's actually playable.
An alpha build, could that be considered a game? Does it have to be in beta before you would consider it a game? Where exactly is the point that you think a game could be considered a game? So think about that. Send your answers to us. You can send that to what is our email address again?
I think you're using Nintendo Oki again.
Yeah, it's just send that to podcast@nintendo-oki.com. And we'll read your answers on the show next week.
Or you can just send them to Tony on Facebook.
Or Facebook, yes. That works as well. Twitter.com/ProGenEnt. That's PROGENENT.
Yeah, that's not going to be confusing. Nintendo Oki, ProGen.
Yeah, so.
Just throw out Data Drain while you're at it. So
There you go. Podcast@datadrain.com. No, I don't know. Is that a thing? I don't think
No.
thing.
Well, it might be, and I don't have access to that.
Okay. Well, there you go. Thank you, Shannon, for being on the show this week.
Pleasure as always.
And Ethan, thank you as well.
I wonder if that is a website.
Don't think it is.
I love Reddit. I love
it's
Reddit.
a domain I can purchase. For a lot of money. No.
Really?
Like $2,600.
Good grief. I spent like $15 on ours. If you want to reach out to us, we have new ways to do so. You can email us at procedurallygeneratedent@gmail.com. If you like what we do, you can support us on Patreon by going to patreon.com/PGENT. Patreon supporters get the video version of the podcast a day early. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/ProGenEnt. Check out our YouTube channel, and we still have that famous Facebook group where you can interact with us on a daily basis as well.